Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and welcome to another video. And this time around, we are going to talk about the most in-form Argentine players halfway into the European club season. So, what I'm thinking is we build our own starting 11 consisting of the best or most in-form Argentine players since the month of August, and there are a couple of things I want to mention. The first thing is that this will be a European heavy type of presence. So a lot of these players will be based in Europe. There might be a couple that I might include that do not play in Europe. And there is one rule, and that is that there is no Lionel Messi. I'm not going to include Messi because it wouldn't be fair. Obviously, we know that Messi would walk into any starting 11 for Argentina. So I thought, hey, we're not going to include Messi, even though I thought he had a very, very good season with Inter Miami, but that season ended in October anyways. So instead of putting Messi in there, I thought we take a look and give an opportunity to another forward in the team. So let's get started. The first name, obviously, is the goalkeeper, and I don't think it's any surprise to say that Emiliano Martinez has been the most in form Argentine goalkeeper since the start of the season. Whether it's for the national team or if it's for Aston Villa, he's made some tremendous saves, kept them in games, won them games, and in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world. And it's not a surprise for me, anyways, that I would include him. And let me know what you guys think. Would you go with Emi Martinez? Would you go with another goalkeeper? Let me know. Now, that doesn't mean that Argentina don't have other good goalkeepers. Absolutely, they do. Walter Benitez of PSV. I've been a fan of his for years. I think he's very, very good. I would include him on the substitutes on the bench. Obviously, we have Juan Musso is playing very, very well in Italy. So we do have some goalkeepers. We have Paulo Gazzaniga, the former Tottenham and Southampton goalkeeper, presently with Girona in La Liga in Spain, and they're doing very well. So Argentina spoiled for choice when it comes to goalkeepers. But for me, the number one, the undisputed number one, is Emiliano Martinez. Now we get to the back line, and the last couple of years, the left back for Argentina has either been Nicolas Tagliafico or Marcos Acuna. And I'm going to mention Nicolas Tagliafico because I think he's been pretty solid for Lyon this season, and he's been very, very good for Argentina. But I'm going to throw in a youngster in there, and that is Valentin Barco of Boca Juniors. In my opinion, the future of the Argentina national team in the left back position, no doubt about it. An incredible talent. There's a reason why he is wanted by the top European teams, and I think it's only a matter of time before he makes the jump over to Europe. Very, very good season with Boca Juniors in the Copa Libertadores. He's a left back, but you could slot him in midfield and he would do just as well. Very versatile, very smart, very tenacious, a good passer of the ball, knows how to score a penalty kick as well. But those would be the two. For me, if I really had to pick, I don't know. I love Tagliafico. I really, really do. I'm a big fan of his. But I think if we're talking just on form, I think it has to be Barco. I really, really think Barco's had a better 6 or 7 month period from August 2023 until now. But if someone wants to go with Tagliafico, I wouldn't argue. Let me know. Am I crazy to go with Barco? Would you go with Tagliafico? Would you go with Acuna? Would you go with somebody else? Obviously, the choice is there. There is Facundo Medina as well, that also plays in France, who is versatile enough to play as a left back. He's had a pretty good season. So let me know down below what you think. If it's not Barco, I would go with Tagliafico. If it's not Tagliafico, I'd go with Barco. And we could also include Facundo Medina on the bench, although he is a center back. And well, speaking of center backs, let's get to that. Nicolas Otamendi, for me, rock solid, scored two great goals for Argentina. Obviously, that big one versus Brazil at the Maracanã, he has to be included. He's been very good for Benfica as well, and just solid for Argentina. I think I would not make any changes to the 11 or to the starting center backs that Scaloni has with Argentina. I'm gonna go with Otamendi and his partner, Christian Romero. We've seen the impact and how well he's played with Tottenham. We see how well they play with him and how the results kind of change without him when he's not there. They don't tend to win as many matches or do as well whenever he's not part of the team. So for me, the two center backs, absolutely Otamendi and Christian Romero. However, that's not to say someone like Medina would not be able to get into the team, or Marco Senesi, for example, who's been very good for Bournemouth and, in my opinion, should be in the Argentina national team. We also have Lucas Martinez Cuarta of Fiorentina, who found himself out of the team for about a year or two and back in the team. So we have some options there: Senesi, Martinez Cuarta. I did not mention Lisandro Martinez because, if we're being honest, and this is because of injury, he hasn't been playing much for Manchester United. So if we're talking about just on form, I don't think we could include Lisandro Martinez. If we're talking about talent, then of course. But right now we're talking about form. And if we're talking about form, I mean, Medina, Senesi, Martinez Cuarta, Romero, and Otamendi are obviously ahead of him in that regard. So there might be a couple of surprises on the list a little bit later on, so stay tuned. But let me know, what do you guys think of the center backs? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments down below. And then to wrap things up in the back line, the right back for Argentina, it's been Molina, the starting right back for a while. And, you'd be hard pressed to find a more informed Argentine right back than Molina. Tremendous for Atletico Madrid. He has improved defensively a lot under Diego Simeone, and we've seen how well he plays with Argentina. He has made a mistake. He did make a mistake versus Uruguay that led to the goal, but generally speaking, he's been very reliable and very, very dependent. And again, I think the most informed Argentine right back. With that said, Montiel, the last couple of matches with Nottingham Forest, has been very good as well. And I'm very happy that he's getting the chance, getting the opportunity to show the fans, show the club, show the coach how well he could play and what he could add to the team. So I would definitely add Montiel as the right back, but as a substitute. So that's my back line. That's my goalkeeper. Let me know down below what you guys think. Now, if we get to midfield, and this is where I think the first surprise is going to come up in just a little bit. But beginning with the midfield, and just like Scaloni, I would absolutely go with Rodrigo de Paul. I don't think it's any exaggeration to say, he is the heartbeat of that Argentina midfield. But at the same time, he's become extremely, extremely important, in my opinion, and for Simeone, for Atletico Madrid. We see it when he's there, again, similar to, let's say, Valentin Barco, the tenaciousness and never die attitude, never give up. And he's one of those players for me that you cannot judge just looking at goals and assists. His goals and assists ratio is probably the worst among all the Argentine midfielders, but that's not his job. And his form for Atletico, specifically this season, I think it's the best of the last, 3 seasons now at the club. I think this is his best season. He's finally finding his groove. I think Simeone's finally trusting him, giving him more minutes, giving him more matches. So very, very happy for him. And I would absolutely include De Paul. Now, the second midfielder, and in my opinion, probably the most informed Argentine midfielder since the start of the season, Ezequiel Palacios of Bayer Leverkusen. You want to talk about important players for their clubs. Leverkusen are flying in Germany. Xabi Alonso has turned the team around, and Palacios, his form ever since Xabi Alonso took over as coach of Leverkusen has only gone up. Obviously, the only downfall type of thing for Palacios is he does tend to have injuries a little bit more than other midfielders, but in terms of form, again, I don't think there's a more informed Argentine midfielder since Palacios this season, whether it's goals, whether it's assists, whether it's overall play. I'm a big fan of his, and I would certainly include him in midfield for Argentina. Now, the third midfielder, and this is where the surprise is going to come from. I'm not going to go with Enzo Fernandez. As crazy as that sounds, I'm going to explain why in a little bit, but I will go with Alexis McAllister, the Liverpool midfielder, the Liverpool man, one of the heroes of the World Cup final, had the assist. I think he's been played out of position. He's been played more of a defensive midfielder for Liverpool under Klopp. He's been getting better every game, more comfortable, and he's just been very, very good for them. Uh, it's difficult to look at McAllister this season and kind of pinpoint and say, wow, he was not good in this match, or yeah, I understand why he got substituted. I think he's been very consistent, all things considered, especially when you take into consideration that he's not a defensive midfielder and he's been played as one. So I would absolutely go with McAllister in midfield. I mentioned Enzo Fernandez, and I love Enzo Fernandez. I think just like any other Argentine fan. But if we're being honest, is he more informed than the three that I just mentioned? I don't think so. The talent is there. Again, we're not questioning talent at all. This is not the point of this. We're just talking about in form. And Enzo is part of a team right now, and Chelsea are not, they are struggling. They are absolutely struggling. I think it's affecting all of their players, not just Enzo. I don't know if, he's low on confidence or just the form overall, the morale, whatever it might be. Hopefully, things change for him. His fortune completely changes with Chelsea and he begins to do well or better, and the team begins to do well. For now, I would absolutely have him on the bench. Nothing wrong with that. But if we're talking in form, I don't think he is in form right now. But someone that is an honorable mention, Giovanni Lo Celso, getting more minutes with Tottenham, getting the trust of the coach, the love of the fans, and you can tell he's becoming increasingly more confident. A problem with him is the same one as Palacios. It's staying healthy. He does tend to have a lot of injury problems, but he's been in form for Tottenham for the last couple of games now. Very happy for him. We could also throw in someone like Thiago Almada with Atlanta United. Very, very good. And we're all waiting for him to finally make the jump over to Europe. In Argentina, I mean, Federico Redondo as well. He's rumored to make the jump. Some European teams are interested in him. He's very good, very in form. So Argentina have the midfielders. There's certainly a lot of them. Those would be the ones that are most informed for me. You could throw in a Guido Rodriguez in there too. Had a pretty good start to the season for Real Betis, but those are the ones I'm sticking with. Let me know, what do you guys think? Did I miss somebody? Am I right? Am I wrong? What's going on? Let me know in the comments down below, and who would you pick? Now we're getting to the attack. I mentioned no Lionel Messi, just to be fair, but I will go with another veteran, and this is Angel Di Maria, who ages like fine wine. I mean, we continue to say this about him, but his move to Benfica rejuvenated him. You could tell at Juventus something was off, whether it was the coach or the fans or the team or the club or whatever it was, something was off. And very happy to see him back at Benfica, enjoying it, enjoying his time on the pitch, whether it's goals or assists or just everything, his influence on the pitch. And he's a fan favorite there. And I mean, as Argentina fans, we could see why. And at his age, he's still among the best wingers in the world. And in my opinion, the most underappreciated wingers in the world, or at least of his generation. So I'm going to go with Di Maria. And that leaves us with two spots. And I think everybody knows where I'm going to go with this. The first one is Lautaro Martinez. I know his form with Argentina has not been the best. He hasn't really scored a goal in a while or in a couple of matches, but his form for Inter, especially since August, incredible. He's scoring goals left, right, and center. He's been their go-to guy at times to get the goals, the important goals, and you can't not pick Lautaro Martinez, especially when you're talking about an informed striker this season for Argentina. It's got to be him. So he's my, let's say, target man number 9. It is him, but there is somebody else that I'm going to include, and we can put him on the right side, on the wing, on the left, wherever you want, and that is Julian Alvarez, who has played as a striker, played as a center forward, played as an attacking midfielder, as a playmaker, as a winger for Manchester City. He's done it all, and he's done it all extremely well. 2 goals in the Club World Cup final for Manchester City versus Fluminense. And just his overall play has been ridiculous. His footballing IQ, it just shows how smart, how intelligent of a player he is. He has an eye for goal, good at free kicks, good at passing, knows when to hold the ball up, everything, really the complete package. And if you're a striker and you want a partner alongside you, Alvarez is the guy. And like I said, he could also score goals, and he does score goals. So for me, one of the most, if not the most informed striker in the world right now, just overall, Alvarez is ridiculous and just a ridiculous talent. And I would certainly play him up front, and he's in form. I don't think anybody could argue that. So him, Lautaro Martinez, and Angel Di Maria are the front three for me. Let me know what you guys think. And in attack, let's look at the honorable mentions. You want to talk about Matias Sule, who's done very well since making the switch over from Juventus to Frosinone on loan. Uh, it started up a little bit, rocky, but the last couple of games, the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, he's been great. He continues to grow. There's a reason why Argentina fans want him on the national team. I'm one of them. Absolutely. I want to see him train with the team, play with the team. And I think it's only a matter of time before Scaloni does include him for Argentina, whether it's the matches in March or the ones in June or the Copa America. We'll see. That remains to be seen. But he's been in very good form. And for such a young talent, very exciting to watch. Another young, exciting talent to watch, Alejandro Garnacho. I know he's maybe not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak, but you cannot deny that for the last month or two, essentially since he was not picked for Argentina, which I believe was for the November matches, he's been very good for Manchester United. He's arguably been probably the best attacker or best attacking player for the last month or month and a half. Obviously, had that great goal, the goal of the season contender, the overhead kick, and just since then, you can tell he's growing in confidence. He's still very raw. He still has a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong. He's far from being the finished product, but I love Garnacho, and I'm excited to see him develop and continue to get better. So I would include him. Now, I mentioned two youngsters, and I'm going to mention maybe two veterans. The first one is Mauro Icardi of Galatasaray. I know, another polarizing figure. Some people love him. Some people don't really love him. Some want him on the team. Some want him very far away from the team. The one thing that we cannot deny is his goal-scoring talent. I know he's playing in Turkey, which is not considered a top 5 European league country, but he knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. He's your typical old school striker. He's your poacher. He could score with his left foot, right foot, header, penalties, whatever it might be. He does get the job done. And I think we'd have to include him in terms of the most informed Argentine strikers or informed Argentine players since the start of the season. I really, really do think so. And I'm going to finish things off with maybe someone that's a little bit less known, and that is Germán Cano of Fluminense in Brazil. Scored well over 30 goals, won the Copa Libertadores, scored the top goal scorer in the Copa Libertadores. He's been getting a couple of shouts from Brazilian players in terms of wanting to have Cano included in the Argentina national team. He hasn't been included just yet. I'll be honest, I don't expect him to get included in the team, but you never know. He's been in great, great form for them and made the Club World Cup final with Fluminense. Obviously won the Copa Libertadores, as I said, and just very, very much in form. So that's my starting 11. That's my bench. I mentioned Messi. That's why I didn't include him. But let me know, did I miss somebody? Am I crazy? Be like, Roy, you completely forgot this person, or I agree with this, or I disagree with that. Let me know what you guys think. What would be your starting 11? What would be your bench? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. Once more, my name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and thank you for watching.